Hi, welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is a book summary of Bounce by Syed. Are you going to accomplish your goals? Bounce raises this as a major concern. Bounce wonders if we can cultivate talent or if it's something we're born with. Choosing a response to this question is critical, as it will influence our lives. Syed is a former world champion table tennis player turned journalist, broadcaster, and author. He sheds light on the possibility of mastery through illuminating case studies and biographical profiles. When it comes to an age-old debate on the merits of hard work over talent, Syed provides an insightful and compelling look into the 10,000-hour rule genre that advocates that excellence is the result of practice rather than innate talent. A look at the science and research behind talent and high performance, along with some of the trivialities that could give us an edge. The YouTube videos of young children playing Bach, Tarega, or mathematical equations that defy belief have all been seen by many of us at this point. If we look at examples like Mozart's, who was able to play the harpsichord at the age of 4 and compose simple music at the age of 5, we may shrug and dismiss these children as prodigies. Dexterity and aptitude were obvious in Mozart, but his remarkable memory was also apparent. Young Mozart's achievements elicit a common reaction from the public: astonishment, admiration, or even reverence for his innate genius. There's more to his talent than meets the eye if we take a closer look at his story. Studies on child prodigies reveal that practice is at the heart of their success. Prodigies are frequently presented to the public on stages all over the world, on talk shows like Oprah's, or on the internet. As a child, Tiger Woods made an appearance on the Mike Douglas Show in 1978, where he showed off some impressive golfing prowess for someone his age. The practice that goes on behind the scenes is not shown. Most golfers practice for their entire lives, but Tiger Woods had already practiced and trained for more than 3,500 hours by the time he was 5. There is little surprise in his success, but when compared to other pianists who had spent the same amount of time training, he was in the same league. It all comes down to practice, says Syed, and if we put in the time and do it right, we can achieve great things. The 10,000-hour rule. There are numerous examples of the 10,000-hour rule. There are many examples of this. The vast majority of chess masters and grandmasters are devoted to the game to the point of obsessiveness, spending countless hours honing their skills. For the most part, it takes 10 to 50,000 hours of practice to become a chess master. None of these hours can be skipped, and no one has ever done so in the history of the game. For Syed, 1 million repetitions is the ultimate goal. As a child, Andre Agassi was taught the logic of mathematics by his father. To put it another way, if Andre Agassi hit 2,500 shots per day, he'd hit nearly 1 million balls in an entire year, according to his own father. To top it all off, his father predicted his son's unbeatability based on his own practice regimen. That many repetitions provides a startling advantage, no matter what anyone says. Many people dislike repetition, but it's the only way we can improve our abilities and strengthen our muscle memory, says Syed. Prodigies and practice, a research study. Hungarian Laszlo Polgár was one of the first people to question the importance of talent and intelligence. In the course of his research, he discovered that geniuses all follow a similar pattern of early training in their chosen fields. After becoming a father, he set out to prove that any child can be blessed with the right care. A genius is not born but is educated and trained, Polgár stated unequivocally. As long as you've got a healthy baby, it's a genius. Because his wife Clara was on board with the experiment, they decided to raise their children to be chess prodigies. Because chess is so easy to rank, it was a logical choice for the experiment. Their 3 daughters, all of whom excelled in chess, were taught by their parents from an early age. At the age of 3, they were homeschooled by their parents and began learning the fundamentals. At the age of 6, Susan, the eldest, was already beating more experienced players. When Judith was 5 years old, she had already beaten Laszlo. As a player, Sophia ranked 6th in the world, despite being the least successful of the 3 sisters she competed against. Over the course of nearly 2 decades, Judith rose to the top of the women's game as the best in the world. Susan was right behind her as the world's second-best female player. Before Judith's 16th birthday, both Susan and Judith were grandmasters. A natural talent was evident when his eldest daughter first defeated high-level players. Again, this demonstrates how success is often viewed as the tip of the iceberg, with no regard for the countless hours of preparation and training that went into it. In order to get better, you must practice. Desmond Douglas is the most successful British table tennis player since the end of World War II. As a student in Birmingham, He began playing during lunch breaks and on rainy days. Eventually, it became a full-blown addiction. A product of his surroundings, Douglas' play style was a reflection of that environment. On a table tennis top that was resting on school desks, he and his classmates played in the classrooms. Because of the space constraints, he had to change the way he moved around the table and incorporated this close-quarters style into his game. According to Douglas, being a good player boils down to having the right mindset and putting in the necessary effort. Although he played table tennis with lightning-fast reactions, Desmond Douglas had the slowest times of any English player in independent reaction tests, which is interesting. The scientists were baffled. He had an advantage because of the way he practiced, which developed his brain in a way that gave him an advantage over his opponents. We can train our brains to be more perceptive by practicing intensely, deeply, or deliberately. Our brains become more adept at responding to our surroundings as we gain more life experience. Because of this, Douglas became adept at interpreting his surroundings and the behavior of the ball as a result of his countless hours of practice. Because of this, he was able to anticipate what the ball would do and react accordingly. It's also important to note that our brains change when we practice intensively and become expert. A novice relies on the prefrontal cortex of the brain, whereas an expert can perform without conscious control. This allows the brain to focus on other parts of the body that may require attention. It's possible to think strategically about the situation and the opponent when so much of the body is automated. It's okay to fail. Failing is an important part of learning, according to Daniel Coyle in the Talent Code. The struggle is not an option, it is biologically necessary, according to him. It's common for us to do things incorrectly when it comes to practicing. What percentage of the time do you do the same thing over and over again because it's easy? Our familiarity with an author can lead us to repeat activities such as running familiar routes, working out with similar weights and machines in a fitness center, taking spin classes and listening to similar music. It's okay to stick to what we know and like, but it's critical that we push ourselves to grow as players. Many of us fall victim to the good enough mentality, especially in areas like music, where mastery of a song leads to complacency and complacency leads to complacency. We may think we've accomplished our goal at this point, but the lesson isn't to stop there. Instead, we should move on to a more difficult song and keep practicing. We'll never get better if we only play the songs we already know how to play. We've been taught that failure is a sign of weakness, but it's actually the opposite. By gradually increasing the difficulty of our practice sessions, we can ensure that our progress is steady. Our efforts aren't going far enough if there is no sign of failure. Maintaining a high level of performance necessitates setting new standards for performance. As a result of adversity and trial and error, we grow as people. In this way, the brain is able to grow, learn, and overcome obstacles and failures. All of us who aspire to mastery must understand that those who assert that failure is not an option are mistaken. The only way we can learn and improve is to take risks and fail. Possessing the appropriate perspective. The right attitude is often referred to, but what does that actually mean? Syed contends that we frequently fall short by vacillating between a sense of complacency and a sense of haughtiness. You've never met anyone who isn't a natural. When we see someone rise to the status of a top 10 athlete or math prodigy, we tend to assume that they were born with these abilities. On the other hand, we could argue that they devote all of their waking hours to practice. Natural ability and talent are often associated with a fixed mindset, which can be a hindrance to our goals if we allow it to be. For some of us, the question arises, why even try? But if we have been blessed with good genes or natural ability, we may decide that we do not need to practice because we can rely on our ability. Syed argues that instead of defining skill as a natural talent, we should focus on the importance of hard work and perseverance. When given the encouragement and reassurance that their perseverance will be rewarded, children have been shown to be more capable of tackling more difficult tasks. As a result, we must cultivate a winning attitude as well. Simply put, we will lose if we don't believe we have a chance of winning. Doubt causes us to become anxious, which in turn causes a chain reaction in our mental and physical health. Have you ever found yourself at a loss for words in the middle of a presentation? Most of the time, this isn't the result of a lack of knowledge or experience. Nervousness and self-doubt are the most common causes of blank stares and fumbles. For example, if you don't believe you can accomplish something, your body will jump to your side because of factors like the placebo effect. Breaking down under the weight of expectations. Have you ever put on a clean white shirt only to have something spill on it right away? Has it occurred to you that when you wear a dark-colored shirt, this rarely occurs? What exactly is going on here? There are two systems in the brain, the implicit and the explicit ones. When we're consciously trying to keep tabs on and regulate what we're doing, our explicit system kicks in. We use it when we're doing something for the first time because it takes a long time to get used to. After a task is completed, the implicit system comes into play. Because we've practiced and performed these tasks so many times, they've become second nature to us. In times of stress, our explicit system kicks in, and we become acutely aware of our own selves and our place in the world. Things that are normally second nature become more difficult under the weight of expectation. A golfer making a crucial putt may have done this in the past. Due to all the time invested in practice, it is possible for them to crumble under the pressure and appear to have never hit a ball before even though they have practiced for hours and hours. Anytime you find yourself choking, you're under a lot of stress, and it's time to get some help. Reframing competitions, downgrading importance, or shifting focus are some of the suggestions offered by psychologists who are trained to help individuals and teams deal with this. Through double thinking, it is possible to alter one's outlook. Having two contradictory beliefs in our heads at the same time is known as double thinking. When Nick Faldo played, he was known to meticulously break down each putt before letting his instincts take over. Analytical thinking and instinctual acting are both necessary at times. Pursuits of triviality. Sari Pak is a character from the film The Talent Code, which you may recall. First major tournament win for South Korea was Sari Pak's in 1998. There has been an enormous increase in South Korean golfers competing in major tournaments thanks to her success. For some of us, it's the tiniest of things that can stoke the flames of our passion. Motivation by association is a phenomenon in which people identify with similarity, which increases our sense of self-belief. Simply by seeing how well a South Korean woman could play the sport, people in that nation began to believe in their own ability to do so. With the Bannister effect, we've also seen this phenomenon. It has been shown that motivation by association can have a significant impact on students' ability to solve difficult math problems. Talented mathematicians were assigned to read reports to students. But there was a problem. This person's birthday was inserted into a few of these reports, so they appeared to be more accurate. As a result, some students were led to believe that the report had been written by someone who shared their birthday. According to the findings, students who received reports from people with the same birthday persevered for 66% longer. Motivation by association can be extremely effective, as evidenced by this seemingly insignificant similarity. As a final point, a lot of the time, we hear people talk about a person's God-given talent or fate. As a result of this mindset, we lose control of our abilities and our ability to make our own decisions about them. It's a double-edged sword if we believe that talent is a gift bestowed upon us. Either we take it easy, or we don't try to get better because we believe it will be pointless to do so. It's never too late to improve, according to Syed. He shows us numerous examples and case studies to prove that we can all improve ourselves. Adopting the mindset that effort and determination improve overall performance also instills values that drive purpose, meaning, and value. When we believe in possibility, we open doors and allow ourselves to go beyond what we previously thought was possible. An inspiring book called Bounce, which asks us all whether we want to catch the ball or sit back and let life bounce by, is an excellent read. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Please don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. See you in next audiobook.